Well, I will.
Well, I hope you do.
Yeah.
Oh, there are people who have just joined us here, right in the middle of our conversation.
We've asked you time and again to knock before you come in
please.
here.
It's so embarrassing. It really is. Thank heavens I didn't have anything hanging in the kitchen of an untoward nature.
Right. I'm so glad to hear that. Just, oh, you're so bad.
I know.
Well, what are we doing today?
I don't know. Only the witch could tell us
All right.
that. If
Well,
she just oh,
speak
there
of the
she
witch,
is.
and there she is.
Here, right on cue.
Here, you read it.
Alrighty, and the witchy woman says, witchy woman, dear guys, what's a Kugel? Kugel. My daughter, Missy, has to do one in home ec, and we've never heard of it. Missy never pays attention and is, therefore, ignorant. As that well-known hot place, she's 16, so I'm sure you understand. She's as ignorant as that hot place. I've sort of messed that up a little. Answer, here it is. A Kugel is a Jewish word. Kugel is German for ball or cannonball. Here refers to a type of pudding. One version is made from grated raw potatoes, which are mixed with egg yolks, grated onions, baking powder, salt, and pepper. Whipped egg whites are folded into the potato mixture, which, topped with breadcrumbs, is baked in the oven. Another version is made of noodles and vegetables, and they cause you to sneeze a lot. And both are usually served with boiled or roasted meat. Well, we've just learned a great deal.
Yes, and I'm so glad the witch took the time to look this up in the food dictionary.
Because it turns out we're all three doing Kugels.
Yes.
Today. I'm going to do one called Another Kugel. And perhaps you should have done yours first. Sent in by El Sarata of Willingboro, New Jersey. Never heard of that.
And I'm doing, where are my glasses?
We're doing Searching for Glasses.
Well, anyway, I'm doing a cottage cheese cornflake Kugel,
Yes.
and it was sent in by Adele Goldfield of King of Prussia, Pennsylvania.
And the very lovely Miss Doris will be by later on. She's just came in on her bike. Or was it the broom? Sent in by Harriet S. Gruber of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's Passover Kugel.
Oh.
All three of them look beautiful because I was checking it all out before we got on the air.
They do.
Hit it.
All right. 2 eggs go into a bowl instead of down the back of Larry's neck. And we're going to beat them up with another ingredient here in a minute after we beat the eggs up. But you have to beat the eggs up first, and I'll do that with my whisk. And then this is the cottage cheese Kugel, so this is the place the cottage cheese goes. So we're going to take a 16-ounce container of large curd cottage cheese. And if you just hold your mouth right, it'll come right out in one fabulous big wad. And then you mix the cottage cheese and the eggs together. And that's all I have to do right now. It takes a little while, so Mr. Bly, hit it.
Well, the first thing I have to do is start some boiling water. And I got that stuff boiling right over there. And then you take these real fine noodles. Those are very fine noodles, little tiny ones like that. And that's exactly what they're called, old-fashioned egg noodles. Fine. It has the word written right on the bottom of the package. Fine.
Could you use angel hair spaghetti?
I imagine you could use about anything you wanted to. Anyway, take that and throw it in there in accordance with package instructions, and that's a whole bag of it, which is about 8 ounces. And put that in there, and you do it according to the package instructions, which is 4 to 5 minutes. And because these are so fine, you know, probably 4 minutes will do the greatest
so
fun.
fine.
And not only that, but you're going to be baking them anyway, so even if they weren't done, you know, chances are you could even start out, well, no, you can't, because you got to mix it with other stuff. I was going to say, you know, some recipes today that just say throw the raw stuff in there, but this is not one of those instances. So, I'm going to boil that for 4 or 5 minutes. And then mine sort of starts out the same way that Mr. Johnson starts out. We have to start out by taking 3 eggs and whooping up on them real good, 3 of them. And because you're going to be mixing this in with something else, it's a good idea to mix it separately, and that way you make sure that you've got them all done up just like they're supposed to be. And go ahead, Johnson.
All right. Now, After you've mixed your egg yolks and your other stuff up, and here it is in this bowl right here, real pretty pale yellow, you just let it alone for a little while, and you take yourself a Pyrex or dish or one of the other oven-proof dishes like this. It can be a square one. I did mine in an 8-inch square one that you'll see in a little while, and melt a couple of tablespoons of margarine in the bottom of it, and then cover the bottom with corn flakes. Yes, you heard me, corn flakes.
What'd you say?
Corn flakes. They're wonderful.
I love them with no sugar on them. I just think they're wonderful.
Well, too bad. This has got sugar and cinnamon. I used about a half a cup of sugar or a third of a cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. So you got a cinnamon sugar.
You know, I think that...
And you want to sprinkle that all over your corn flakes.
Corn flakes are such a utilitarian type of meal.
Mm-hmm. They are. They're just
and they're also useful for a lot of different purposes.
Mm-hmm. You can do all kinds of things with them. Now, this is so quick that I think I will... Should I go on and do some more? This is...
No, let's keep it a big secret what you're going to do now. Anyway, I've taken 3 eggs and beat them all up, and now we're going to go to a bigger bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, a bigger bowl, and you're going to put that in there. And then the next thing you're going to do is take your noodles off. Do you think it's been 3 to 4 minutes?
It just seems like it has, but it really hasn't been.
It seems like it's been in there for 20 or 30 minutes at this point.
Doris said.
Has it only been 2? My timekeeper. Okay, well then we'll go on ahead and pre-mix some of this other stuff. 2 cups of milk go into this. There you go, and put that in with your egg mixture. And then you just kind of diddle around for a while, and then half a cup of sugar goes in. This seems to me like it has an awful lot of sugar in it. Yep, that's what it calls for.
These are definitely sugary recipes.
They really are. Half a cup of sugar goes in there, and a teaspoon of vanilla goes in there. Teaspoon of vanilla. I don't have one here, so I'll just estimate. There we go. A teaspoon of vanilla. I think that was a little more than, but that's okay. And sort of mix that around. Make sure you get your sugar distributed pretty well. And then we'll come back and put some of the other stuff in it directly.
Okay. Now, I've got my corn flakes and cinnamon sugar on them, and now I'm going to put in the contents of this bowl, which is the cottage cheese and the eggs. Come on out of there, you bad boys. All right. And
now make sure you get it all out of there.
Well, we're very carefully going to spread out the cottage cheese and the eggs.
Do you like cottage cheese?
Yes, I do.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, because you're so persnickety about some things like beans and stuff. I didn't know whether anything was lumpy, like cottage cheese would bother you or not.
My distaste of beans comes from the consistency, the mushy kind of stuff. But cottage cheese, especially the large curd, is firm.
Hello?
Oh, there's the phone.
Oh, well, it's time to take the noodles off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take her back here in the sink and drain them right now in a big colander that I have. Put those back there like so. And we'll just wait for them to drain thoroughly. Go ahead, Mr. John.
All right, well, now we're going to put on another layer of, that's right, corn flakes.
Ooh, that looks good.
Well, it better be.
That's good.
And I'll get rid of the corn flakes. It's a large... Oh! Fell over on my glasses. Now we'll smooth out the corn flakes and give it another go with the cinnamon sugar.
What are you doing now?
I'm putting cinnamon sugar on them. Any fool can tell what I'm doing if they're watching, so I'm not going to
well, we have to
discuss it like a ball.
Well, I agree, but you know, when you just stand around and you don't say anything, what happens is the compression system on the audio chain goes way out of whack, and then next time you speak, it just knocks the thing off the air.
Yeah, like that.
It's a very technical thing. Anyway,
well, anyway.
Is that it?
Well, not quite. I have one more layer.
Thank heavens. We'll save that for a couple of minutes from now.
Larry, it's all yours.
Thank you. Well, now what I have done here is I have taken the noodles and have thoroughly
upside your head.
My noodles. See these little bitty ones? And I have just thoroughly drained them. And take them and put them in there and mix them around real good. And then you've got to put some cottage cheese in this one also. 8 ounces of creamed cottage cheese. That's a little bit more than 8 ounces, so I'm just going to use about half of that. And mix that all around. Now, simultaneous to all of this, concurrently with everything else that you're doing in the kitchen, you should be taking a large bowl. This thing is hot. I had it in the oven. Whatever you're going to bake this in, your casserole dish or whatever, if it's a metal one, just set it on top of the stove and turn the eye on real low and put just a little bit of margarine in it and melt it. Otherwise, today I just took this glass one and put it into the oven, I think they call it, and I turned it on and I melted the margarine across the bottom, just a little bit,
or you could put it like I did in the microwave.
You put it in the microwave. There's many ways you can go about doing this, all of which are terribly wonderful and mysterious. Now, here's what you do. Now, make sure that you get all this. You don't want this to happen. You don't want a big wad of this stuff to come up like that. So make sure you smush it around pretty good so that you have mixed it and perfectly. Now, what you do at this point is take it and put it in the dish that you're going to bake it in, like so. And in a couple of minutes, we'll come back because there's a very special something that goes on top of it. The special thing.
Well, Johnson. I'm going to do my special thing over here on the top of it. Just little dots of margarine. I'm using about 3 tablespoons of margarine, and I am dotting over here. Easier said than done. Kimosabe. Oh, well, get over there. Don't. This. Now we have the lovely Doris Ford is coming in. Later on, and she talks so slow that she will take up much of this time.
Now, are you dotting the butter, or are you actually semicoling?
No, this is put on as a dot.
Oh, okay.
Let me
just every one is formed perfectly.
Well, do we have the cook sisters?
Well, we got lots of things, but I'm just enjoying watching you fill time.
I'm so glad. Throw that away.
Well, that's just wonderful.
And now you bake it for 25 minutes to a half an hour at 350 degrees. Let me go over the recipe with you.
Oh, please.
You use 16 ounces of large curd cottage cheese, 2 eggs lightly beaten, sugar to taste, cinnamon to taste, and cornflakes to spread. Simple, easy, nothing to it. Even your goofy little son could do it at home. So just go ahead. Kiddies, you can do this yourself. It's easy to do, and it tastes real good.
Okay, now the next thing that goes on mine is we have some graham crackers, and it doesn't take quite a whole pack of these, a whole block of these. I've discovered that's really just a little too much. About a half a pack of these will do, and then that means that you get to use up the rest of the milk by eating the remainder of them. I'll take those home, or I'll probably just share them with the staff. But anyway, now what we got to do is smush them up real good. And I have brought along a little rolling pin, and just make sure you mash it up real good. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and it's going to become the topping. You're just going to take it and sprinkle it across the top before you put it in the oven at 350 degrees for 45 minutes. Almost there, not quite. Bear with me for just a minute. So anyway, that's what you do. I wish I had one of those things like you have, Johnson, one of those flat things that you use in your kitchen, which is so nice.
Oh, yes.
Gathering this stuff up and just put those across. Oh, yeah. Wonderful. Just wonderful. No, I was thinking about that device that you have. That device that you have with a sort of a flat side on it. That's real good for scraping stuff up, a scraper type thing. Put that in the oven, 350 degrees, 45 minutes. Here's what's in it. 3 eggs, a half pound of fine noodles cooked, 2 cups of milk, a half cup of sugar, 8 ounces of creamed cottage cheese, a teaspoon of vanilla, and graham cracker crumbs, and 350 degrees for about an hour. And it sets up just beautifully. It is a lovely, lovely thing. It really is.
Well, let me show you. After baking for a half an hour, this is what the cottage cheese Kugel looks like.
Oh, isn't that pretty?
We could have shaped it a little more or done it in a round dish. Doesn't make any difference. It would be truer to its origins in a round dish. So that and you could probably unmold it and cook it so that if you did it in a round bowl in the oven, it would come out like half a cannonball.
Ooh, a half a cannonball.
Half a cannonball.
Well, a man of your caliber. Let's, the Cook sisters are coming by here to dispense with a little down-home philosophy
and mischief.
Information that you just can't live without. I just know you can't because I said you can't. So anyway, here they are right now.
All right, now, you know, when you were baking the other day and you didn't have any self-rising flour, I didn't want to make you mad at the time, but the recipe for self-rising flour is 1 cup of flour and 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And that's the recipe for self-rising flour. I'm Sister Cook.
And I'm Tootsie Cook, and
We're the Cook Sisters.
Oh, and when you take this out of the oven, oh, that is so hot.
Wait a minute.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's a phony one.
Actually,
a faux Kugel that you have brought in here.
A faux Kugel. Isn't it pretty, though, with all the cracker crumbs on the top of it? And I used a little metal thing so I could melt my margarine right in there and everything like that. So it's real pretty, and that's what it looks like when you've cooked it. I think that it's time for a visit from Mama Doris. She's on her way. I can hear her clippity-clopping down the street right now, even as we speak.
Oh, no, she had to take time to smack Carroll upside the head.
She never takes time to do that. It just comes natural.
No, I don't smack Carroll, but there's 2 other people I'd like to smack once in a while.
Yeah. How'd you like to wear this little thing on your nose?
Well, thank you.
Well, this certainly is pretty. Is this a desserty type thing?
I would think it would be. I had an awful time trying to find this, and I never did. I was supposed to find
Find what, the studio?
And,
did you have problems finding the studio?
I had trouble finding Laban.
Oh, okay.
He said I should have called him. I called the newspaper. I went to every store in the Roanoke Valley, drove from hundreds of miles to find Farfel.
We're here.
I don't even know what it is.
You know that.
Well, did you know what it is? What is it?
It's a cartoon character.
No, it wasn't it that puppet that was on TV with chocolate milk?
That's right. That was Farfel. That's right. That's good.
Okay.
Well, would you explain what it is?
We couldn't
Don't
quite
just
get him
mention
in.
it.
Okay, if we had to do, I don't know.
Oh, you do so.
I know.
I told you what it was.
Well, you tell me again.
All right. Farfel is a little egg noodle.
Oh boy, that was really tough.
Well, what he said I could have used.
Egg noodle.
What was the
Sort of
name?
like orzo.
Or that you could use orzo, whatever. But I called the newspaper, everyone, and they said you could use potatoes if you wanted, or use the matzo crackers because we couldn't find it in our area. But you're supposed to take 4 cups of it, but you can substitute, like I say, the potatoes or the matzo crackers. And then you have 4 eggs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 4 tablespoons of margarine melted, a 1/4 tablespoon of cinnamon, a 1/2 cup of sugar, 4 cups apples grated, and 2 cups of prunes cut in pieces. And if you get it, don't do like I did. I bought the little cheap prunes, and it took me hours to cut them off of the thing. And then it didn't tell you how to put it together, really. So I sort of tried to make it like a pie. I put the matzahs on the bottom and then some on the top. And this is what it looks like when you get it out. And like Laban said, if this was in a bowl, I think it would have been molded. But that's what it looks like.
Well, it looks a little moldy right there. It does.
Well, I'm so glad our staff will have the benefit of eating
the
all these prunes.
That is true. And how long do you bake it?
It did tell you that, but 9 by 13 pan, 350 degrees for 45 minutes.
Well, let me ask you something else. When did you see that the Hindenburg was first in trouble?
The Hindenburg?
Looks like I'm interviewing you.
Well, I was alive then.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you remember anything about the Lindbergh baby?
Well, I think I was alive then, too. Keep going. You're doing fine.
Well, that's enough
The
of that.
Civil War, I don't remember too much unless I was.
I know, she
had
is a little hazy
reincarnation.
on
I might
that.
remember
Doris
that
is
for
like
that.
Mae West used to say, she'd been things and seen places.
It just occurred to me I looked like I was interviewing you for a news story of some kind or the other. Well, we
Well-
certainly have lots of beautiful, beautiful.
And you know, these kugels can be used as side dishes to roast meat, but there are dessert kugels that are very popular that can be used the same as a side dish, or some of them can even be used as dessert.
Well, now, is the one that I did today considered a dessert kugel?
No,
Because
it's a side kugel.
Well, but it's got sugar in it, and it's got graham
all right.
crackers
You
on
eat-
top of it.
Well, you eat, for instance, apples with sugar in it, or corn pudding with sugar in it at meals.
Oh, okay.
So it's the same kind of thing.
Well, would you serve this maybe with some cream or something?
Hang on a
Is it-
second.
is it a
I would.
dessert?
Well, I guess you could.
Didn't know she was going to go on. That's okay.
Oh,
That's all
I was getting
right.
ready to leave, but that's okay.
But it
Go ahead.
oh, she just giggle.
Now, that's fine. Okay, thank you very much. And when did you know that TWA was going bankrupt? Yeah, never mind. It's fine. I'm gonna take some of this out. It's gonna be cold. Is that okay?
I don't care.
I guess I could heat it up. I believe we have time.
No, not with all that metal.
Oh, you're right. Well, no, that's why I'm putting it in individual bowls.
Oh. Oh, you're going to microwave the bowls.
Yeah, well, I
Well,
think I
what
will.
can you do?
Cook time. Uh-huh. Well, that isn't working.
You know, we got some mail this week, Mr. Bly.
Yes.
It said that we needed to take this pig off the wall, that they
People
were
love
tired
the
of
pig.
it. People do. They love the
People are
pig.
crazy about the pig. Well, I'm heating up some stuff. Doris, bring that over when it, and it's set for, yeah, just bring it like it is.
Oh, my.
Well,
Well,
I think this is beautiful. Now, is this the one you did?
Yep.
Oh, it's so fluffy.
With the corn flakes and all that stuff.
Mmm. I love it.
And you could do this
It's real good.
with non-fat cottage cheese, the faux eggs, the artificial eggs. Not artificial, they're real, they just don't have the yolks in them. And one of the artificial sweeteners. You could actually do this.
Doris's is real good, and I love the prunes. I think they're just fabulous. Well, here's mine, and it looks right rubbery. I don't think we heated it up very much, but it is good. That's wonderful. It really is. Real pretty, too. Well, there you have it. 3 different kinds. And each one does vary an awful lot from the other one, which is surprising.
Now, with Doris, with hers, I think it would be a great go-along with a pork roast or some kind of pork product, tenderloin, or something really lean because of the prunes and things. I think that would go along really, really well.
I think yours would be just marvelous heated up with ice cream.
Well, it is
tastes great.
real tasty. I think it'd
I
be great
like
with
it.
some raisins in it.
I think of the 3, that my favorite one is yours.
Well, thanks.
I believe so. I think that I just like this, what is this glaze that's on top?
This is cinnamon and sugar.
The old cinnamon sugar glaze is just fabulous. It's real crunchy. I
Well,
like it an awful lot.
remember, watch the end of the show and we'll tell you where to send your ideas for recipes or your recipes, and be sure and send them in. We'd love to get them, and we might do them on the air someday.
You never know.
Well, that's true. You never know.
And the
I
next
want some
time,
more prunes.
next time we come on the show, Doris is going to tell us about the time she talked to Edward R. Murrow prior to World War II.
Uh-huh.
You know, she's on the scene with all that new stuff with that microphone. That just tickles me. I don't know why. Standing there talking to her.
Yeah, she's saying I was alive then.
She has seen all the great disasters.
The only
of our
thing
time.
she missed was the Civil War, and that was only by a hair.
Well, yeah.
I've been reincarnated.
We got to get out of
Yeah.
here. I thought it would never happen, but we actually do have to leave at this point. Thank
See you
you.
around.
Thank Doris and bye.